Hi, folks. So I have a module two all ready to go for you. I want to do an overview of what I'm expecting of you this particular time, as I did last time. I think it's useful just to so you don't miss something because it's easy. There's a lot of material. The first caveat I want to make is that please remember that you have 2 weeks for each module. There's a lot in each module. I don't deny that. But you need to pace yourself. Okay, so if you access this on Thursday, think, well, gee, I've got 2 weeks to get this done. It's easy to put it off, but you really need the full 2 weeks. You need to designate, time to get these things done. There's a lot of viewing, there's a lot of exploring, there's a lot of reading to happen. Bookmark the things you like, but leave time to experience and explore things. But this is all about constructivist learning. I'm presenting to you with um, information and resources, and I'm expecting you to do your part and spend time with this. And I'm not saying you don't get me wrong, but I know it's really easy to become overwhelmed very quickly. But if you pace yourself, you'll find that the work is doable. And as an aspiring teacher, this is the kind of work that you'll be doing on a regular basis. You'll be really all this experimenting and exploring, finding what's best for your students, particularly in technology. You may be using a platform that works very well for one group of students but does not work well for another, and you have to do some searching to find something. Or you may need, a digital tool that you've not used before, and you need to know, what you can use and where to go to find it. So learning to explore and experiment is important. You don't have to be an expert at everything. Nobody is. Okay. As long as you have familiarity with some of these platforms and you're willing to, experiment with them, that's what's really important. So again, just make sure you allow enough time. So I've written the instructions out for you here, but I'm also going to, I want to point this out. This is a platform that I'm experimenting with, and I would invite you to experiment with me. It's another way of staying connected in online courses. This is called Remind 101, and this is a way of, as a texting tool, but it doesn't reveal phone numbers. So I've attached a PDF here with instructions on how to join EDU 380 Remind, and this is another way I can give announcements, or I can send you reminders, reminding you that this assignment is due, at such and such a day, reminding you to whatever, and you can also converse with me as well. So if you have a question, you can text me a question. I set office hours when I can receive these texts. It's pretty broad. It's 9 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday. Or you can send a text, later in the evening, and I'll get it in the morning. Okay, so just another way of staying in touch. This tool was designed for middle school and high school teachers, but I'm appropriating it for you guys. Okay, so if you would like to participate in that and have another way of connecting with me and your peers, please join. Okay, so Google Tools. I was kind of assuming that most of you knew how to use Google, had probably used it in schools if you worked in schools, because it's the platform that most schools use. It's the platform that we use here at the university system. But again, I don't want to assume too much. So I've done a really quick sort of drive-by video about, first of all, how to access your portal. I don't know how all of you are accessing Blackboard and your email, but if you use the portal, it gives you access to all of those UMA sites with one login. It makes a whole lot of sense. So there's a little tutorial about how to use that, and then how to use your Google Drive, what's there, your docs. And I've done a little bit of how to use some of the features of the docs. I could record a day-long video when using Google Docs, and I'm not going to. But give me your basic overview. The idea is that you have to go in and try. Go in and mess around with it. That's what I always tell people, get to muck around it a little bit. Otherwise, you can't break anything. So give it a shot. Also how to use Google Sheets, which is like Excel, and Slides, which is PowerPoint. So I didn't look at sites this particular time around, but the Google Sites is in a different place in this module. So I'll show that to you in a minute. And then integrating digital learning and teaching into unit plan. This is about using lesson plan templates. Last module we looked at the unit plan template, and that's the big broad overview. But now we're going to look at how to put those pieces into that unit plan and how to use the lesson plan template. So that video is about that. And there's a link here to open up the template, and there's also an example. And then course management systems. I'm requiring you to create one for this class. So you need to decide what one you'd like to use. And I've given you several choices here. I thought Google Classroom would be available to you through your main account, but I'm not sure that's going to work. You can try it. I had another student try, and she didn't have success. I could do it because I'm a faculty, and that may be the difference, but try anyway if you're interested. If not, you can still look at the Google Classroom I created, and there are instructions here on how to sign into that. Edmodo is available to you. You could create an Edmodo account. There's a link here for videos, tutorials that I'd like you to watch. And then I also have an Edmodo account that you can log into and explore. The class code is right here. The same thing for the Google Classroom. Here's the class code. Schoology is another one that many schools use. I have a course here. I have a site here too. So here's the code. Or you can go here and put this code in. I don't have a video for Schoology. I couldn't find one. So, and then Google Sites is also a possibility. You can make a secure website there. Google Sites is a little clunky, but you might want to try it. The video is 2 hours long though, so pace yourself. Weebly is another platform that you can make teacher websites. And then Wikispaces, which is another platform. So explore those. Think about what you would like to have for a course management system. This would be a place for students to access your curriculum. It would be a place for students maybe to submit work. Edmodo and Google Classroom and Schoology allow you to do that. You could certainly use Google Drive in conjunction with Google Sites for submitting work as well, outside of a Google Classroom. So it would be a place that students could submit work. It's a place they could share work. I'm also asking you to have a collaborative tool, and while I'm not specifically addressing this module, it might be that Edmodo has a collaborative tool. Schoology does as well. So that could kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Digital storytelling, there's a little narrative here that I'd like you to read, and this link takes you to a web page that I want you to work your way through. I've given you instructions here on how to do that. Don't shortcut yourself. There's a lot of information here. Make sure you take some time. Make sure you look at it carefully. Take some notes. Don't just click and move. Absorb these things. You'll be a lot happier if you do it that way. I've given you an example. Oops, the E fell off. Sorry. An example of a digital storytelling lesson plan, and I've also given you the model digital story I made for my high school students over 10 years ago. It's, I think it's 2007. It's not quite 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. The video is a little grainy, but you'll get the point. This is a personal narrative about place. The unit of study that I was teaching was about what is my place, where we're exploring, our personal lives and our surroundings. Let's see. Oh, it didn't. It's just I had that clicked over. Sorry about that. Just had the screen moved over, so the E still is there. So look at my video story. It's about a minute, less than 2 minutes long, and digital stories are usually, about 2 minutes long. They're very short. Anything over 3 minutes is too much. Okay, so keep that in mind. I've also given you links to some platforms that you can explore for creating a digital story. This resource up here will give you step-by-step instructions on how to create a digital story and the process that goes into it, not just the technology, but the prior thinking and research and the writing that has to go into place before you actually do your digital story. Here are some more resources for you. There are thousands of platforms to use for creating a digital story. Don't get lost, okay? I'm giving you all these resources so that you have some to choose from. I don't expect you to try everyone out. That would be impossible. But, see what speaks to you, The platform I use to record my videos for you is called Screenomatic, okay? And I've given you the link here. I have the pro version, so it does a little bit more than the free one does, but I love it. It's great. There are also some Google applications that I did not list here because not everybody has an iPad. I mean, not Google apps, some Apple apps. not everybody has tablets or iPads or Android tablets, so but if you do have one, feel free to explore some of the iPad applications that are available. And you can do that on the Free Technology for Teachers website. There is a section called iPad applications and Android applications. And you can click on those and search for a video or audio or podcast. So spend some time with digital story. You're going to create one of your own digital stories, and you're going to create a lesson plan for your unit. So this is the main focus for this week. You're going to pick a course management system too, but I don't expect the course management system to be fleshed out. I'm just expecting you to choose one and put a few things up there and share the link with me. I am expecting you to have a draft of a digital story, and I'm expecting you to have a draft of your digital story lesson. Okay, here's a webinar called Digitally Speaking about creating podcasts and videos. I want you to watch this video. It's 1 hour long. However, go to this page first and you can get the PDF materials that go along with this. And then you can actually watch the video on this page, or you can watch it here, linked here. You have 2 things to read for this week. These are both ebooks. They're not too long. I think they're about 40 pages, maybe something like that. But it's fairly easy reading. And because, again, this is about making videos and then about web tools. So take some time with these as well. You have 1 discussion forum to do this week, asking you to talk about digital storytelling. Okay, and then 4 assignments. Don't freak out. These are feedback only, folks. A good teacher, an effective teacher, I should say. Good is kind of a political word. An effective teacher scaffolds the work for his or her students by giving them some information, letting them, experiment with it, practice it, ask questions, and then get some feedback. So I'm going to give you feedback. So your unit plan template. So that's what we went over last week. You've decided what your unit's going to be. If you don't have any idea, you're struggling with that, email me or call me or text me, set up a video conference with me, whatever you need to do so that I can help you decide how you want to do that. And then, make sure you follow the criteria for that, and you're going to send it to me right here in Blackboard. I'll show you where, right down here. This is a submission tab. You're going to submit it right here for me by September 23rd. Okay, so we have different due dates for these 4 assignments. They're not all due at once, so pay attention to that. September 23rd is next Wednesday. Okay, so you should have that done in draft form and sent to me. You're going to decide on the website or a class management site platform you want to use and begin building it. Again, I don't expect it to be finished. Send me the link by September 28th so I can take a look and see where you're headed with that. Okay. The thing that's going to take you the longest this week is your digital story and your digital story lesson. So you're going to create a digital story, the final version of which is not due until November. So I expect this to be sort of, in process. But I want to see what you're doing. Even if you decide to redo it, I want to see what you have, what you're using for a platform, how you're putting it together. Are you doing video, audio, music tracks? How are you doing this? I want to see, okay? And then you're going to create a digital storytelling assignment and accompanying lesson plans for your unit plan, okay? Again, this is draft. And both of these here are due on October 1st, so that's 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to do this. So you'll want to begin early with the digital storytelling process and really investigating that maybe, one of the first things you do, and get started on that. Work with your peers. You have groups. I've set your groups up. So, use your group discussion board to share your ideas, to talk about things. You may want to share emails so you can email each other. You may want to share phone numbers. You may want to do Google Chats with your peers or me or both. Use your resources. Don't just sit home in frustration, because I know what happens sometimes when people start using technology. They run into a little snag and they throw their hands up in the air and say, I can't do this. Well, you can. It can be frustrating sometimes, but just work past that frustration. Think about what you'll need to know in order to help your children, your students, overcome frustrations. You expect students to persevere, and a little struggle is good for learning. So don't feel as though you're going to get this, the first time, one and done. You're not, but you're going to have a lot of time to practice this semester too. So, and here are the places where you're going to submit these 4 things. Pay attention to the due dates, okay? And this spaces it out for me so that, I have 30 people in this class that I can give the feedback, appropriate feedback, for each thing without it piling up and me having, 120 things to respond to all at once. So that's module 2, folks. It's a lot, and but you're going to do it. It's going to be great. You have 2 weeks to do it. If you have any questions, you have any concerns, you let me know, and I'm here to help you. That's what I'm for. Okay? Have a great day.